Chapter 5. Fetch? We get back to our house. I open the gate and put Dogopotamus in the backyard. He finds his swimming hole and waddles over to it. Sticking his mouth under the surface, he takes a big drink and then slowly submerges himself as the sides overflow with muddy water. Even though all I can see is his eyes, nose, and ears sticking up, I know he has a smile on his face again. I decide to let Dogopotamus enjoy his swim and I go inside. I sit down on the couch in the living room, exhausted. Walking Dogopotamus didn't go exactly how I had hoped, but that was just one setback. I thought about what else Dogopotamus would like to do. What about a game of fetch? Dogs love to play fetch. That should be fun, and we can do that in the backyard. I walk out to the garage and start looking around. We have one of those big blue plastic buckets that we keep all the balls in. I dig around in the corner behind the trash cans and find the bucket. It's filled to the top with tons of different kinds of balls. Rubber balls, tennis balls, volleyballs, baseballs, footballs. You name the ball, we got it. I even see a beach ball in there. Unfortunately, tennis balls always seem to fall to the very bottom. I reach my hand in and start working my way down. I finally pull out an old, faded green tennis ball. I walk out back and find Dogopotamus still soaking in his hole. He sees me, slowly crawls out, and comes over. I show him the tennis ball and he immediately perks up. "You want to play fetch, boy?" I ask. Dogopotamus starts wagging his tail and his whole body shakes. I take the tennis ball and toss it to the other side of the yard. He spins around and takes off. The ground rumbles as he dashes across the lawn. I see him pick up the tennis ball and he runs back towards me. He stops right in front of me and sits down. His tongue is hanging out and he's just looking at me. "Drop it," I say. Dogopotamus looks at me, panting. "You need to drop it so I can throw it again," I say, still waiting. Dogopotamus just sits there, staring back at me. Finally, he yawns a big yawn and I look inside his huge mouth. No tennis ball. What happened to it? I saw him pick it up. Did he eat it? I run into the garage, dig my hand into the bucket again to find another one. I go back outside and find Dogopotamus sitting in the same spot waiting. "Here you go, buddy. Bring it back this time," I say as I chuck the ball across the backyard. Dogopotamus takes off again, picks up the ball and lumbers back towards me. He sits down and stares at me again. No ball. I think he's eating them instead of fetching them. Maybe tennis balls are too small. I run back to the garage, find a volleyball, and bring that back. "Let's try this, boy," I say. The volleyball is light, but still too big for me to throw with just one hand. I grab it with both hands and toss it. Not as far as the tennis ball, but still far enough. Dogopotamus turns and takes off after it. He picks it up in his enormous mouth, turns and comes back to me. He sits down and stares at me. "You gotta be kidding me," I say. "You ate that one too?" Back to the garage I go and grab a basketball. The basketball is a bit bigger than the volleyball and a little heavier. I stand in front of Dogopotamus again, grab the basketball with both hands, swing my arms from side to side to get some momentum, and chuck it as far as I can. Dogopotamus follows the ball with his eyes as it flies over his head. Then he runs after it. He picks it up, comes back and sits down. No ball. "Wow, this is crazy," I say out loud. I go back to the garage and look inside the blue bucket. The only ball bigger than the basketball is the beach ball. It's the kind you blow up with your mouth. It is mostly white, but it has red, yellow, and blue colored stripes. It doesn't weigh much, and I'm not sure how far I can actually throw it. I walk back and stand in front of Dogopotamus one more time. "Fetch it. Don't eat it, okay?" I ask. He just looks back at me with those big eyes, tail wagging, and tongue still hanging out. "Don't eat it. Not food," I say, hoping he understands, but knowing he has no idea what I'm saying. I decide to drop kick the ball across the yard to get more distance. It flies across the yard, spinning all of its colors in the air. Dogopotamus runs after it, and as soon as he puts his mouth on it, I hear a loud pop. He turns around and comes back towards me with pieces of beach ball shreds hanging from his teeth. It obviously exploded all over his mouth like a bubblegum bubble. He sits down in front of me, bits of plastic hanging from his mouth and teeth. "Well, I'm not sure what to do now, buddy," I say, scratching my head. "Wait a minute, he's eating all the balls. I know what's going on. He's hungry." To read more about Dogopotamus, go to Amazon.com and purchase the books. This is Coby Fox. See you later.